Hi, this is Anissa Cuellar, and I'm going to demonstrate my Web 2.0 integration project. I integrated with Seesaw, an online classroom that allows the user to complete the assignments and share items to the class through multiple methods. I also use Sutori, a storyline or timeline tool that allows the user to create or share items in a linear way. Evaluated both of those, and Seesaw received a 3.6 out of 4. It really is a great tool to keep students engaged and can be differentiated when using with younger or even older students. I teach high school, so I was able to actually even use this with my 10th graders in world history. The downfall would be the goal-oriented and usability, because few students were pretty confused about how to use Seesaw, because they were so used to actually using our previous online classroom Schoology, but they still kind of got to the point where they got used to it and were able to engage with each other collaboratively. So based on the evaluation rubric, the usability got a 3. The directions are pretty easy to follow, but some students were still kind of having a little bit of difficulty with it. And all the students were actually motivated, and it gave them a lot of more voice in the classroom. So I used Sutori as well, but it did receive a 2.4 out of 4. Students found this tool pretty confusing and even difficult to use, but it could have gotten better if the students actually did practice it. It really isn't that hard to use, but they just really made it more difficult on themselves. It does uphold COPA, but there really isn't change in usage for older or younger students. Did obtain like a usability for a 3. It was okay for users who were actually a little bit more comfortable with it, but other than that, most students were very confused with it. But most students would see this as a substitution kind of product if used in that method to maybe like a Google slide. So possible improvements for Sutori: if used differently, where students create their own board, the evaluation score could have been improved dramatically. In the future, I most likely would use Sutori as a review or research project for students to create their own. So a brief lesson I had with my students was during our unit of the Industrial Revolution. The students were expected to explain the political, economic, and social changes in Europe, and also the effects of free enterprise in the Industrial Revolution. So their final assessments were to go ahead and read the excerpts of the Communist Manifesto and be able to do that Sutori assignment. They were actually able to come back and create their own recordings on Seesaw, and then be able to go more in depth with the Industrial Revolution. So evidence of the usage that we actually use from my 5th period world history class. This is our blog for our class, and so here are some examples of what they actually did. So they would take a picture if they did it on paper, and then here's an example of their video.
What it is learning about Karl Marx is that these love poems and novels
And then
were...
Here is a student example of the Communist Manifesto Sutori, where my students were at first going to do a pre-research about Karl Marx, tell me what they learned through a quick search, and then a pre-assessment of certain terms that they would actually come across when they read the Communist Manifesto below. Read each paragraph and come over here to the right hand side, title their paragraph, make a question and answer for each paragraph, and demonstrate that they actually did read this. Once they were completely done, they actually used those questions and created their own quiz at the very bottom. So the use of Sutori and Seesaw were actually pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed this, and hopefully you use this in the future. Thanks for watching.